Hello, hello. Welcome to Mastering the Video Job Interview. I am Christy Noel. If you're not familiar with me, I am a career expert and the author of Your Personal Career Coach, which will be available in the summer, and a new book that will be out shortly, Your Career Survival Guide, which focuses specifically on how to navigate your career and getting a job and keeping your job in a time of crisis. So a timely book that I will be sure to let you know when it is available. Very excited to get that out to you. But today we are going to focus on a job interview through video, because in light of coronavirus and the sheltering at home and not being able to meet face-to-face, if you're having a job interview now and in the near future, you're going to be doing it on video. And I have a feeling that now that businesses are in the habit of doing interviews virtually, at least for first round interviews, I think we might see more of that even when you can go into a place of business and meet people in person. So these are all really great and important skills for you to have. So we're going to talk a little bit about what you should do in preparing for a video job interview, as well as what you should do during the actual interview. So let us get started. The first recommendation for preparing for a video job interview is preparing the tech. And you've probably been on a Zoom call or some type of video call, conference call even, where you're waiting for somebody else on the line. They haven't downloaded the app or they can't figure out how to connect or something along those lines. Really annoying, right? So that's not going to be you on a job interview. So first thing you want to do is, when you get your calendar invite or the information for the interview, is to make sure you click on the link that's in there, even if it's not going to be live for the actual interview. But you want to make sure that if it requires a download of some type of application, that you download it now and not the day of, that you can connect, that there's not any hiccups, you have enough bandwidth, whatever all the technology is. So you make sure you can connect easily and quickly when the time comes. And you want to test any other technology. Going to work on your computer. Do you need a tablet or a phone or all those things? You also want to focus on the camera angle. You probably see a lot of people make this mistake. I'm really surprised by how many people I see making this mistake on the nightly news when they're doing their broadcast from home. They're looking down, right? So you're seeing them more kind of talking like this, or way up too close, or not a good angle for anybody, including me, definitely including me. So you want to make sure that your camera, whether you're using a tablet, a phone, or computer, is a little higher than your head so that you are looking up. And you all know that trick already because you're doing selfies like that, right? So use that same trick in your job interview. So whether you have to put your phone on or your computer on books to get it a little higher, if you have on the back of your phone so you can hold it, you can put that on a cup and put the cup on top of books so that you're looking up. So the inclination is to look down at your computer like this as you're talking, but don't do that. However it takes to get your computer a little bit up, and you want to have a good amount of distance so they're not looking up your nose or into your pores, and it's actually looking like it's a conversation, like an interview. Also really important is your lighting, and you've probably seen people make this mistake as well, and it's not going to be you because you're watching Christy give you your tips. The lighting should be in front of you, not behind you. So if you are sitting with a window behind you, the light's going to come behind and you're going to be very dark and looking like you're in a cave, if they can even see your face at all. So you want the light in front of you. It can be natural lighting. So if you have a window, you can sit in front of a window. I have a window to the side of me right here. Or if you need to get a lamp, you can put a lamp on a table right in front of your computer or wherever you are putting your device you're using. So you want the light in front of you. You don't want it too bright so it's not too harsh and throwing shadows on you. So again, this is why it's in the Prep the Tech section, because you want to test this out ahead of time. You don't want to be having to panic and get that all taken care of minutes before your interview. So set up at the time of day that you're going to be doing your job interview on video so that you can see what the lighting is going to be and see if you need to put a lamp up or if there's enough light coming in from the window, or if it's too much light, too bright and you'd get terrible shadows on your face, too dark and they might not be able to see your face. And if the only place that you have lighting is in the back, then find a different place. And one things I've done is I've taken my computer and I walked around the house looking for the best light. What angle does this look like? What does it look like from this angle? Until I could find a spot. And trust me, you find out really quickly when it's not good lighting. Audio. Super important in a job interview that they can hear you. So it's great that they can see you. It's great that you have good lighting, that you're looking up into the camera and not down. But the main thing is they need to hear you. And all my other tips do not require you to invest any money. And this one probably doesn't either, because I'm guessing you already have earbuds with a microphone. So if you do, earbuds with a microphone work great. If you have a headset for your office or for your conference calls. I'm wearing a lavalier mic, not required. This was not very much money, not required that you spend the money on it, but I do want to say that yes, it's required for you to have some type of audio that is not the computer audio or your phone audio or your tablet audio. I don't want you to rely on that to be able to be crisp and have you heard. You don't want to be so close that it's a bad angle in order for them to hear you. And I've been on a lot of Zoom calls lately, and the computer audio and microphones are not very good, and people are popping and cracking and breaking up, and I can't hear them. So really not a good way to have a job interview and have them stick around to ask you all the questions, and so that you can shine and show them what a great candidate you are. So again, just some type of external microphone plugged into your device that you're speaking into, and you should be good to go. So once you have your camera angle, you've got your tech taken care of, your lighting, your audio, you're going to work on your set. So I call it select your set. Where are you going to sit? What does it look like behind you? Do you need to straighten up? Do you need to move things around? I don't know if you guys heard that Charlie Puth performed on the One World fundraiser and his bed was unmade. And I know that because the internet was sharing that he had an unmade bed. I don't even know if his performance was great or not, because all I saw and read was that his bed was unmade. You don't want people being distracted by what's going on behind you because it's messy, your bed's unmade, there's a pile of laundry, there's dishes everywhere. Whatever might be back there, you want to make sure that is nice and clean, and so they're focused on you and you in your set, your office. Those are all of the things that I want you to focus on prior to the job interview. Again, real quickly, that's preparing the tech, making sure you've downloaded all the software that you need, that you have a good camera angle, that you're looking into the camera, you're looking down a little bit, it's above and you're looking down versus below you looking up. You have your microphone so that you can be clearly heard, and you have your good lighting in front of you, and you have a great set. Now you are in fabulous, fantastic shape. Everything's taken care of from a technology perspective. Now it is time to conduct the interview. You're looking great, your technology, your camera, your lighting, everything's all great. Now it's the day of, and you are going to give the interview of your life on video. So what's the first thing you're going to do is dress professionally. You don't have to necessarily be in a suit, and maybe you do depending upon the interview and whether it's appropriately, but it should be professional attire. And I'm going to tell you, you need to be professional from head to ankle. I don't think it matters what shoes you wear. So if you're going to be a better interviewer in slippers or flip-flops, go for it. But I do want you to be professional, not just to the waist, but from the waist down. And there's a reason for this. You don't know that you're not going to have to stand up in the middle of your job interview. Maybe they ask for something that you have to go pick up. Maybe the dogs start barking, although we're going to talk about why that's not going to happen. But you need to go grab a kid, a dog, piece of paper, portfolio, I don't know what it is. But imagine if you are dressed professionally and you've got shorts or yoga pants or a tutu. I don't know, thinking about John Krasinski. You don't want to stand up and then have that professional image be blown because they can see that, you know, your professional attire stops at a certain point. So, and I also am a big believer that if you're dressed professionally, you're going to act professionally, and that'll come across in the interview. And if you're in shorts, maybe mentally you're not in that same mindset. So slacks, skirt, shirt, blouse, again, to the ankles. I'll let you wear whatever you want on your feet. I would recommend not wearing white. It doesn't look good on video. It can wash you out. I would also recommend not wearing something with a lot of design or pattern. So again, that can just be distracting. Sometimes it messes with the camera if it's like a tight tweed or a weave or something. So solid colors I'm a big, huge fan of, and colors with color. I would recommend to men and women. That doesn't need to, red's not your color or pink's not your color, but just avoid white and avoid a lot of patterns. Again, you want them to focus on what you're saying and not about what you're wearing. But my biggest thing is, just in case you have to stand up, that you're professional all the way to the waist down. We talked about avoiding having barking dogs, eliminating the distractions on the time of your interview. Close yourself in a room if you can. Close the dogs in from being able to get outside and bark. Ask the kids to be quiet or have a project for them for the hour that you're going to be on the interview. Whatever you can do to eliminate as many distractions as possible so that everybody's focused on the actual interview. Whatever you can do to get things quiet and focused around you, and to try and keep anything that might be walking in or coming in or ringing the doorbell or anything like that. It's not perfect, and people will have some tolerance and patience for that, but if it's really distracting, then it's just going to hurt you because you're going to not be doing your best, and it's going to be hard for the person interviewing you to be focused. And that's really what I want to focus on for you, is having the best job interview that you can give so that you are able to get the job. I want to talk about testing the tech. So you've got your clothes picked out, you're in your professional attire, you've got everybody in the house tucked away and quiet. A few minutes before the interview is supposed to start, you're going to get on early so that they're not waiting for you. You're already there. But this is also the opportunity to make sure that your camera angle looks good. You can see yourself in the camera and you like the way that it looks. You can make sure that your computer's hearing your external microphone. You can hit the buttons on the technology to make sure that you can hear the audio even before they get there. There's ways for the systems to do that. So you're just going to get on, make sure your camera angle, your audio, and your sound all works, and then you're going to sit there and wait for your interviewer to join the call. So really important. You want to make sure all that's taken care of. Then you'll have one thing less to worry about, and you'll know that you'll be ready to go as soon as they join the call. Once the interviewer has joined the call and you are ready to give your interview, this is really hard to learn sometimes, but it just makes such a difference, and that's to look at the camera, not the screen. So right now I'm looking at the camera on the device I'm talking to you, and it looks like I'm talking to you. Hopefully I'm doing it right, and hopefully that's coming across. If I'm looking at myself, I'm looking here. What a difference it makes. And so it's so easy for us to look at ourselves and look at the other person. And this is really hard when you have somebody else on, like a Zoom call or something, because you want to look at them and you think you're looking at them and having a conversation, but you're looking like I'm looking now instead of looking at them. So I would say most of the time spent should be looking at the camera lens, not the screen. But if they're making a point or there's something you need to see, then obviously you want to be able to look at what's going on the screen. But most of the time, you're going to be listening to them. They're not doing anything that really needs you to look at, so you can look at the camera lens, particularly when you're answering the question. It's a little different if you're listening to them because they can probably realize that you're looking at them when you're looking away. So when you're talking and answering questions, for sure, look at the camera lens. Most of the time, I would recommend doing that too. If you need to look, then you can look. So if you need to practice, then I would say, get in the habit of that, because it's not easy, especially if you're on a call with multiple people. It's so easy to watch what's going on. So it does take a little bit getting used to. Now that you're dressed professionally, you've eliminated all distractions, you've gotten onto the call early, you've made sure the audio and the video and the sound all work, you're looking at the camera lens, you're having that one-on-one conversation, even if it is virtually. Now it's time to actually have this long discussion, hopefully, and that's where your body language is going to be so important. Sit regally. I didn't know how else to say that, but you want to sit still, you want to sit up, you want to pull your shoulders back. Oh, and I realized that I wasn't doing that. My grandmother would be so disappointed in me. Sit up straight and try not to fidget. So remember, whatever you're doing, they can see. So if you're with your hair, you're scratching your nose, you're twisting in your chair, that is all things that they will be seeing and noticing. So try to minimize your fidgeting, sit up straight. I talk with my hands. I'm not going to tell you not to talk with your hands. You might not want to go overboard with talking with your hands. The most important thing is just try not to, you certainly don't want to have convey body language like this, or like this, or like this. So, if you were in person, you wouldn't be doing all those things. So you want to make sure you're doing those on a virtual job interview as well. And smile. It makes such a difference when you're talking and smiling. You will feel kind of silly and you'll feel like you're overdoing it, but it comes across really well. It usually doesn't look silly and it doesn't look like you're doing it too much. If you don't do it enough, it can kind of come off like you're grumpy or you're not a nice outgoing person, and all those could be further from the truth, but it's really hard when you're not in front of a person to be able to pick that up. But if you smile when you're talking, it conveys upbeat, engaged, and that you are delightful, warm person, because I know you are. This is something that doesn't come natural, so it's something you're going to probably want to practice in the mirror, talking to your dog, talking to your cat, talking to your roommate, talking to your selfie, talking to your FaceTime, but it does, for me anyway, it took a little practice to get used to looking into a camera lens and smiling as I talk. Those are my tips for getting ready for the job interview and during the job interview. So before the interview, we talked about prepping your tech, making sure you had everything downloaded and all the software requirements. We talked about making sure you have a great camera angle so that you are looking a little up into the camera lens instead of down. We talked about having great lighting that's in front of you, that's natural, that doesn't put any shadows on your face, definitely not behind you, that's going to make you look really dark and dreary. We talked about having an external microphone, whether it's earbuds or a headset or a lavalier mic. Don't have to spend a lot of money, but you do want to have some type of external audio to make sure you come across crystal clear when you're answering those job interview questions. And we want to talk about having a really clean set that didn't have any distractions or busyness that's going to keep people looking at your background instead of focused on what you're saying. For the time of the actual interview, we talked about making sure that you are professionally dressed to pass the waist down to your ankles, so just in case you have to stand up, that you are still professional and that's seen on camera. We talked about eliminating distractions, whether that's children, whether that's pets, whether that's roommates, whether that's busyness behind you. Again, wanting to keep that focus really on you and what you're saying. We talked about prior to the interview getting on a few minutes early so that you are making sure the audio and the visual and the sound is working. We talked about looking at the camera lens and not at the screen so that it comes across that you're looking directly at the person. And we talked about your body language, making sure you're sitting up straight, that you're not fidgeting, that you are smiling. My last tip for a video interview is that you follow up, and you follow up just like you would for any other job interview, whether it was virtual or in person. You are going to send thank you notes, you are going to send an email, you're going to do that within 48 hours, you're going to do any additional follow-up after your initial email thank you. A handwritten note is always a nice touch, and go through the process of your traditional follow-up all the way through till you get the job. So I appreciate you joining me today. I hope those tips were helpful for your next video job interview or job interview via video. I do believe that the job interviews via video are here to stay, at least for the time being, and probably continue on well into when people can go back to meet, because it just makes it convenient and easier. And now that we're used to it, I think it's going to become part of the practice of the job search process, both for employers and for job seekers. So the more you can get comfortable with it and the more you can practice and be prepared for it, the better off you're going to be, and that's just going to make you stand out more and get you one step closer to landing the job through the video job interview process. I wish you well with all of it. If you have any questions, feel free to contact me. For more information and resources on preparing your resume to get noticed, for 8 simple things to do that will help you get promoted, more details on prepping for job interviews, writing cover letters, informational interviews, and video job interviews, please visit my website at christynoel.com. You can reach me at info@christynoel.com if you have any questions. Follow me on social, and best of luck with your video job interviews, and I will see you next time. Thanks so much.